So this is how this game was being lost. Our team kept getting caught and killed with Johnson's crashes. And even when I managed to survive, I was picked off shortly after. But once Kaja hit the full build, everything changed. And I became almost impossible to kill in the late game. So here's what changed.
Request backup. 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them. All troops deployed. Launch attack.
So our team was off to a good start. You can see we engaged in team fights within the first 5 minutes. And unlike other teams I've played with, it was evenly matched, 3 versus 3 and then 4 versus 4. And you can see once they were evenly matched, we would come out the victor. In this team fight, we were able to get 2 kills. We took out the jungle, and then our mage took out another enemy. And what this shows is that Kaja's skills of reducing the enemy team's damage each time he hits them with his skills is so important for gaining the advantage in a team fight. And Johnson at this time did not yet have his ultimate, which gave him a big advantage, as you will see later on in the game.
The dawn follows.
Launch attack.
No lives can hide. Demon,
Request backup.
go wherever you run.
Understood.
You're right.
Launch attack. Enemy reached the fort.
So our jungle got to the turtle first and he was attacking it. So Beleric and I decided to wait in the bush to ambush the enemy team as we expected them to come and try and fight to take the turtle. I noticed that Freya immediately jumped in against our jungle. So my focus was to follow her and hit her with as many skills and paralysis as I could to reduce her damage as much as I could, even to the extent of sacrificing my HP. And then I was able to escape because my HP was getting very low and she was about to finish me off. So I used my ultimate to paralyze her, even though I knew I could not drag her all the way to the turret. But by paralyzing her, it stopped her attack. I dragged her away as I headed to the turret, and when I let her go, I was able to escape. So Kaja's ultimate is not only used to drag enemies towards a turret or your team to kill, but it can prevent or stop an attack that's about to kill you by stunning the enemy, paralyzing him, and hopefully using skill 2 to escape.
Good to see you, Rafaela.
Enemy has been slain.
So we must remember my job as a roamer is to roam all the lanes. So I went to the top lane where I thought we had a 3-2 advantage, and then I see Nolan slipping in behind us. But then Johnson appeared out of the bush, and it quickly became a 3-on-3 battle. Johnson, however, got isolated from the team. Our jungle hit some skills in him to lower his HP. Our mage was stunning him with Valir's flame. So I dragged Johnson closer to the team, and with all the CC and slows that we had on Johnson, we were able to get a kill.
Slain.
Nowhere else can hide. Witness the
So this is where, as a roamer, as I said, I always try to make sure I engage the entire battlefield. So after leaving the top lane and getting a kill, I move to the bottom lane where I notice Freya is in her element. And she's quite a powerful jungle. And I see Johnson coming in, so I hit my skill 2 to slide out of his crash. And Freya quickly follows in and leaps in and gets a kill. And I am outnumbered 3-1. But then I noticed Beleric, HP is low, and Valir is now coming to join. And Johnson makes a mistake and decides to separate himself with his HP low. I hit him with my Wrath of Sanction. And Freya now engages us again. And Johnson is coming back with low HP, which is a mistake because he probably sees Beleric with low HP and hoping to get a kill. But I'm able to hit him, and our mage stuns him and gets a kill when most likely we shouldn't have gotten that kill because they were dominating that team fight at the beginning.
Request backup. Understood. Turret has been destroyed.
Where I go, the dawn follows. Demon, you shall not even have the opportunity to try.
Initiate retreat. Okay. Request backup.
Divine judgment! Divine judgment!
Our turret has been destroyed. Request backup. Okay.
Now at this stage, I would say even though we were leading 8-4 in kills, the momentum has shifted in the enemy team's favor. You can see we are on the back foot in the mid lane. The fighting is occurring near our second turret, and they have all 3 turrets. I'm able to get a kill, and this is an important tactic I use. If there's a squishy enemy hero, his HP is low, Kaja does not do a whole lot of damage because I have a tank build. But if his HP is low, what I will do, I will hit my skill 2 to slide into them and slide past them, so that when they hit the balls, the electric balls I leave after my slide, that does damage, slows them down, and I can finish them off.
Our turret is under attack.
Now just to show you here, we're still early in the game, and you can see I only have 2 items, my physical defense boots and the thunder belt, and that means I'm still fairly squishy, so I do tend to play safe and avoid being too aggressive in team fights, so I keep my kill count, or my death count, rather low. So what I think happened here was Johnson was driving alone, which is already a mistake. He should have a teammate with him, and he saw Hanabi by herself, so he probably thought he could crash into her and get an easy kill. But I was not too far away, and I started attacking him, and then Valir showed up. Valir was an excellent mage in this match. He was very attentive to the map, and he got a lot of kills, and he was able to finish Johnson off. Now at this point, you could see we're dominating the match. We have 10 kills, they have 5. We just secure another kill against Louis, who was straight too far from her team. But I will show you shortly, we see how that momentum started shifting in their favor when Johnson started using his crash skill more in a timely manner and more strategic. So this is how the match changed when Johnson timed his crashes in a better manner and came with an enemy and got me caught in 3 consecutive crashes. It really started turning the game in their favor. So that was number 1.
Initiate retreat. Understood.
And this was number 2. This was more of my fault because Johnson had already crashed. But I saw his HP, his health points low, so I thought I could get the kill. But I did not see that Maya and Louis were waiting for me, and I got caught in a massive CC, and Maya took me out.
Pure lightning! It's good to see you, Rafaela.
And this last one pissed me off because I told myself I'm not going to get killed again. And it happens for the 3rd time in a row. But what happened was Maya had actually hit me with a freeze arrow and I stunned. And then Johnson crashed right into me, and he came crashing with Louis, who then applied her crowd control, or her CC. And with Maya, Johnson, and Louis attacking me, I literally had no chance, even though I didn't yet have my full build.
You shall not even have the opportunity to tremble.
And you would have thought I would have learned my lesson, but it happened for a 4th time. I saw Louis by herself, so I thought I could drag her back into the turret, and Johnson then crashes into me. And even though I was by the turret and I hoped to escape Freya and Johnson's crash, Louis then hit me with her crowd control that brought me back into her circle of light or darkness or whatever it is, and I got killed. That's 4 times in a row.
Witness the power of pure lightning!
Now here's a 5th death in a row. I actually evaded Johnson's crash, and I thought I could drag him into the turret to get a kill because his HP was low. But now we see how fed Maya is, because I get caught in Louis' crowd control, and Maya just shreds me apart, uses her blink skill that makes her invisible for a second, and followed me and literally shredded my armor. This is when I realized Maya is going to be a problem in this game.
There's nowhere for you to run, nowhere you can hide. Uranus, let us connect.
So at this point, I realized I had to make some adjustments to my build. I already had the Chastise Pauldron, which will regenerate me, but that wasn't sufficient. That works for Maya, but I think the other side had so much crowd control between Johnson and Louis. I had to go with the brute force breastplate because look at the bottom. Not only does it give me a cooldown reduction so I can use my ultimate more often, but when the stacks are full, it gives me an extra 25% control duration reduction, which is essential to getting out of the enemy CC of Johnson and Louis combined. And this, I think, greatly helped me to become unstoppable in the late game. Now, mind you, although I selected the Bruce Force breastplate, I don't have it yet as I don't have enough money. So in this team fight, I rushed in to get Nolan out of the way, and I was able to get a kill on him by dragging him, lowering his HP, and then killing him. And our mage was pushing them back, but Freya was jumping in and doing heavy damage. But notice the big difference here, how I was able to survive even with low HP, was because Maya was not in this team fight. She was engaged with Hanabi on the minimap further north, but then she came down at the end, ambushed me when I thought I was free near our turret, and got a kill on both me and Hanabi. And by now it's clear that Maya is the real problem in the enemy team, and we have to neutralize her to turn this game around. And as soon as I recovered from my death, we got what we wanted. Our mage, kudos to him, did a lot of the damage on Maya. The HP was low and he got the kill. And we also were able to surround Johnson and take him out. And on top of that, I got my brute force breastplate item. That's because I think after killing Maya, who had a run, the team got extra gold, bonus gold, because she was dominating the game. And I think after this point, the game momentum started to shift in our favor.
Attack enemy lord.
There I go. The dog follows.
But I still had to die one more time before we were able to go on to victory. Again, I got crowd controlled by Louis, and then Johnson came in heavy with Nolan, who had explosive damage, and took me out.
You should not have the opportunity to tremble.
Initiate retreat.
There's nowhere for you. There's nowhere for you to run.
So that was the last time I got caught by Johnson. From here on in, I started to dominate the game. First was Louis, ultimate paralyze, drag her in, and eliminate. Next, Johnson gets overconfident and decides to crash right into the turret, hoping to get an easy kill, and I take him out.
Get high.
Your team destroyed the turret.
Witness the power of pure lightning.
Request back understone. Request backup.
Demon, you shall not have the opportunity to tremble.
Your turret is under attack.
It's going to shoot fire.
The enemy has initiate retreat. Okay.
Then our team puts on a masterclass of defense, staying behind the turret, letting and goading the enemy to overstretch and attack. And then we see how unkillable Kaja becomes, because without Johnson's crash, Maya and Freya tried to chase me down and give me multiple hits, yet they couldn't kill me.
Your turret is under attack.
And yet again, we get another gift from Johnson. He just drives straight into our base within our turret's range and is easily killed. And though Maya had Balearic under her crosshairs, he was able to escape. If I were the enemy team, I had been pissed at Johnson and reported.
Attack enemy lord. Under attack. Launch attack.
There I go. The dog follows.
Request backup. Understood.
Witness the power of pure lightning.
So I start picking off the weak and stranded enemy heroes. Louis here gets caught away from a team, so I drag her in, and she's quickly killed by Lancelot and Valir. And then Johnson, who then crashed, is stuck as his teammates flee, and he comes under fire from 3 directions, and we get a double kill while our entire team is intact. And the momentum has completely shifted now. As you see, 3 of the enemy are dead, all of our teammates are alive, and now we start pressuring their turrets. And Freya is launching in, trying to push us back. But without Johnson and without Louis' crowd control, we see how exposed and weak the enemy formation is, and we just start marching forward, picking them off one by one and taking down their turrets.
Team, destroy the turret. Launch attack. Understood. Killing spree. Initiate retreat. Okay. Shut down. Mega kill. Oh, killing spree. Wave. Launch attack. Okay.
Where I go, the dawn follows. It's good to see you, friend. Hearing us.
Initiate retreat. Launch attack. Attack the Lord. Understood. Unstoppable.
You shall not even have the opportunity to tremble.
Launch attack.
Hearing us. Let us connect.
Ally has slain Lord.
There's nowhere for you.
Initiate retreat. Okay.
And now basically all the team fights are going our way. This is because Johnson crashed a bit too early and we had an extra teammate that is the Lord on our side. So after Johnson uses his crowd control and I realize I am safe, I then go in to grab Nolan and drag him in for the kill. He escapes with low HP, but we get the two other enemy heroes, and then Maya, who was their damage dealer, is taken out. So now they have 3 heroes dead, we have only 2 killed, and we have the Lord marching forward.
Team, destroy the turret. Your team destroyed the turret and slain. Your team destroyed the turret. Initiate retreat. Launch attack. Understood. Your team destroyed the turret.
It's good to see you, Rafaela.
Request backup. Initiate retreat. Okay.
Where I go, the dawn follows.
And now the game is ours to win. Johnson comes in again with his ultimate crash, but I and Balearic and most of the team are able to evade. So when he crashes, he doesn't crash into anybody, and he's now stranded behind our line. So he is more or less sacrificed first. We quickly dispatch of him, and then Freya comes in, but she comes in solo again as Louis is coming up behind to try and crowd control us. And you see Nolan comes in from the side to try to gank, but without a well-timed crash from Johnson, they've lost the initiative. And in the end, you can see we dominate this team fight because in the end, we only had one of our teammates killed and we were able to take out 2 of their teammates. So it is now clear that we are winning pretty much all of the team fights and we are close to their base.
Attack the Lord. Attack the Lord. Okay. Initiate retreat. Understood.
There's nowhere. Witness
Attack the Lord.
your life.
Understood. Attack the Lord. Okay.
Demon,
Attack the Lord.
there's nowhere for you to run. Witness the
Killing spree.
So this is going to be the final battle for the Lord in this game. And if you look on the minimap, I see Johnson coming in. But again, it's a poorly timed crash. He crashes into a wall and he does so by himself. So once again, he's isolated, surrounded, and easily dispatched with. So he's out of the way. Louis has been killed. Nolan is not with his team. He's all the way on the bottom lane. So their whole formation has really fallen apart. They're not fighting as a team. So with 2 of their teammates gone, Maya realizes she cannot stay here and try to fight. So she flees. Balearic chases her and makes sure she's out of the way, and we focus on Lord. Meanwhile, near our base, we see Freya and Nolan. We now understand what their tactic was. They were hoping that we would be distracted with Lord and they could steal a win on our base. But that failed, and I think that was their last attempt to salvage victory in this game. From here on in, we went on to destroy their base.
Request backup. Launch attack. Lord.
Where I go, the dawn follows.